Let's jump into some activated capital stuff. Josh and Lane, what's up, guys? How did you guys meet?
It's just through a mutual friend, mutual connection. Said, hey, you guys should definitely link up. And that was Lane, a few years ago. We linked up for coffee. You were living in San Francisco at the time, and we're just traveling to New York. And then it made a lot of sense. There's a lot of overlap, a lot of synergies, and kind of just hit it off.
Cool. And you guys are both based in New York City now, right?
Right. Yeah,
so
we are.
So cool. And so at its most basic level, activated capital will raise capital from investors and then purchase real estate. Now, what kind of real estate, do you guys target? Do you guys like to buy? And what have you bought in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I can, start with that, and then Lane can certainly speak. But it's just, our mandate is in the Midwest and Southeast. So when we think of our landscape and what we invest in, it's mostly low-income census tracts. And then there's a heat map, if you will, that looks at the whole U.S. And we talked about the economic and all of the country doing really well, like this, everything's in good shape. But that's partially true. There's certain communities and neighborhoods that still have not seen any of that positive change, you think, from the recession. And so we're focused more in the impacting communities on the double bottom line, as I mentioned, but that hasn't seen that spark yet, or has seen it and it's just is not a Chicago or a New York or an LA or Miami, but they are growing cities that just need activated or that spark, that catalyst. So Detroit is a market in which we've already invested in, and we're looking in Nashville and Memphis, Tennessee. So we want to really just create that alignment within real estate for a tenant, with the family that's actually renting the home, all the way through to the investor. We're instituting different rent-to-own models to allow communities to really just mitigate and reduce community displacement. So opportunity zone, there's tons of capital flowing into communities, and ultimately it's just going to be gentrification. It's just going to be another tool where communities will just be displaced, and opportunity zones or low-income census tracts will just be 3 to 4, 5 miles outside of where they are today. So,
gotcha.
I mean, that's what, high level what we're focused on, and we're looking into more businesses too, and investing in that and having that double bottom line.
That's interesting. So you're basically saying like, all right, it's fine. We have the relationships with investors. We're going to raise some capital. We're going to invest that capital into homes, but we're not just going to be that kind of like, deadbeat landlord where you never know who we are or what's going on. You're actually going to make a connection somehow, some way between the tenant all the way up to the investor in some way. And what I'm guessing is that has something to do with the double impact or double bottom line, where you're actually, the investor who invests with you guys is not only finding out how much money he made, but he's also learning about what that tenant's situation is and if it's improving or not. Is that kind of along the lines of what you might be able to offer?
Yeah, no, totally. That's it. So we've trademarked an OZ scorecard, and we're able to really just measure and report on all of the things that we're doing, which is important. I mean, accountability, measurability, transparency, like all of these things that you don't necessarily see, and just like top-down decisions and investing from large institutions for the most part, but transparency and reporting is huge.
Okay, that's cool. We'll talk about that OZ scorecard. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's get back to it. Yeah. So will you buy like large condo buildings, or will you buy individual homes in Detroit or Nashville? Which do you prefer to do?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to us. I mean, we've been focused on the single family home side, or even just individual purchases. If it's a larger apartment or multifamily, we're open to that as well. It's just a matter of if it fits the double bottom line, if it makes financial sense, and we're able to implement financial education and all of the things that we want to do in the community.
So you guys actually care.
We would like to say that we definitely
What if he
try.
said no?
No, this is all for show.
He's like, no, it's just about the money, to be honest with you. But
No, I mean it's definitely it's even more about caring.
Yeah.
Right? Because we totally come across people that have amazing goals and such like endearing plans, and yet it's still predatory because like they don't understand the math.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah, you want to do so good, but like at the end of the day, it's not necessarily helpful because you're taking out more than what you put in or what your intentions are. So I don't know. We totally care. It's just, it goes so much beyond that for sure.
I mean, this is a weird question, right? But I think it's actually a very important question. Why? Why do you care? There's so many people who are investors. What's driving this?
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge question. I don't know, Lane, if you want me to start and then you can go to your why as well. But I mean, my why was just growing up in the Midwest, having, that upbringing, third generation real estate construction, raised mostly by my grandparents, went to New York without really any sort of connections in finance, first one in my family to graduate from college. And then just understanding more of a volunteer networking, but just kind of helping and giving back all the way throughout my career. I worked within microfinance. I managed money and worked with nonprofits really closely. That's always been important to me in my career. So, it's what I've always just felt extremely passionate about. But it's difficult, right? Because it's in the past, I mean, being volunteers and philanthropy, you can't really run a business for the most part. So that's why opportunity zones are so powerful, because you have the impact of avoiding taxes completely, and your investors are super happy, and then at the end of the day you're making a transformative impact. So 75% of all investment dollars goes to 3 states, and it's New York, California, and Massachusetts. But guess what? You guys are in Chicago. We invest in Detroit, Memphis, Nashville. There's so many communities and just intellectual firepower outside of those three states.
Well, what an interesting story. So, I mean, you're basically saying like grew up with your grandparents, even though your direct family was involved in real estate and stuff, and then that led you to a world of volunteering, philanthropy, microfinance, nonprofit, and then you kind of mashed the two together, the real estate background and the nonprofit background, and bam, activated capital. There's something about, like, I grew up with my grandma for like the first 7 or 8 years of my life. May she rest in peace. There's something about like being raised by my grandma. I don't know, man. It kind of, if there's any good in me, I feel like she has a lot to do with it. I'm not going to take anything away from my parents, but like they were busy, like, figuring out how to raise 5 kids. But like just my grandma was like chill. She's like, I love you, baby. I was like, I love you too, grandma. Can I love other people too? Yeah, sure, baby. Why not?
I feel the same way about my grandma. And don't get me wrong, parents are nice people. They mean well, but my grandma was just like religious person who's like always about God.
Yeah, they're close to God, right?
Yeah, they're always close to God, right? So that's what she is.
Well, they're getting closer to death, so they're like, oh man, this shit's real.
Yeah. Hey, that's so funny. Your grandmother's on her deathbed, like, man, I don't like none of these niggas, but I want to go to heaven. So
right.
Love them. You gotta love them.
Josh, does your story resonate with that, with your grandparents at all?
Yeah, I was having a hard time hearing you guys, but yeah, that makes total sense to me. I was shaking my head, and I don't know if you can see me, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, great. I love that story. It's activated capital. All right, so we get the idea of what you guys do. It's not just being a landlord. What you say something?
I want to ask a quick question. So is it just for businesses? Like, how much capital would you need to invest, or for y'all to start working with somebody?
Yeah, so like our investment minimums, I mean, we'll work with all investors, institutions, as well as individuals, but
Okay.
our minimums will go as low as 50K. And that's just really, as our stated minimums will $250,000. But yeah, the lowest will go as 50. And yeah, we're open to just have any conversations just to help understand what options are and just to get more, folks like, aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I think in the world of investing, right, there's obviously a lot of high net worth people who are wealthy. And I think a lot of them are starting to ask the question of like, wait. Where's my money going? Who am I supporting?
Yep.
Is this going to create some guns that are going to go shoot up some school or something? Like, I just think people are asking a lot more questions than they were before. And that applies all the way across the stack, even to real estate, So that's great. All right. So I get the measurement. I get that all. And the accountability you guys create. So it's not just investing. It's creating accountability, these opportunity zone scorecard thing that you guys have created. So, all right. So then you guys create this cool plan. And then a former NFL player jumps on board with you guys as part of a joint venture. Is that right?
Yeah. No, it was about 3 weeks ago that, we announced that just creating a fund, Kingdom Activated is the name of the impact fund. And,
okay, so a new fund called Kingdom Activated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm sorry, continue. Who is the NFL player again? By the way, Josh and Lane, man, I'm so outside of I used to have a fantasy team every year for years. I've just fallen out of that the last 5-6 years, so I don't even know anyone right now. Like, is Jerry Rice still in the league?
No, I don't think so.
That was a bad joke. I know he's not in the league.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
I think he's dancing on stars right now. Dancing with the stars.
Oh man, so he's been out longer than I thought. Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. So yeah. So who's the person you guys have teamed up with?
Yeah. No, that's funny. Derrick Morgan. He spent 9 years in the league with the Tennessee Titans on the defensive side.
Okay.
An outside linebacker, and he basically was more than just an athlete. It is really just the quickest way to say it, but. He's been investing in Beyond Meat, been an ambassador, focused more on just aligning his investment dollars with his values for a few years now, at least. And he can tell his story a lot better as well. It's just to how he got to where he needed to be and where he is now. But it's great. I mean, it's just that top line, high level missions are aligned, and it's just amazing what can be accomplished when you can just get that aligned mission. And we talk about alignment a lot, but it's we're excited.
Okay, cool. So Derrick Morgan comes on board. You guys create a new fund called Kingdom Activated. This dude was a former defensive outside linebacker for the Titans, and those guys intercept a lot of passes, right? Am I getting that right? Outside linebackers, that's their thing, is interceptions, right?
Man, please don't put me on the spot.
Oh, for real? You don't know NFL?
Nah, not that much.
Oh, for real?
No.
You're more a hoops guy.
Yeah, basketball.
All right. I remember outside linebackers. Yeah, man, they're trying to intercept without getting a flag. You know what I'm saying? All right. So you're saying he's more than an athlete. This dude has been investing in Beyond Meat. So he's always thinking about, when he's got his money, he's thinking about what he wants to do with his investment dollars.
Smart guy.
But they got to be lined up with his beliefs and his values so that he don't feel he can sleep at night. Mm-hmm. Good for this dude, man. That's great. How'd you guys link up with this dude?
He heard us on a podcast.
What?
Yeah.
Man, I hope some other NFL player right now is listening to this podcast. I'm gonna doubt it right now.
Nah, man.
You never know, right?
Never know.
Right?
My cousins might listen to it, and he's going to the NFL.
Get the out of here.
Yeah.
Who's your cousin?
Ray J.
Ray J.
Yeah.
Where's he? Why are you laughing so hard, man?
Because he's in high school. But
you think he's gonna make it?
Yeah, I think he's gonna make it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's great. Where's he go to high school?
Somewhere outside. I don't care that much about it, but somewhere outside.
You don't care that much about it. All right, cool. I'm sorry, Josh. So we're getting a little distracted here.
No worries.
All right, so he heard you on a podcast and he reached out to you guys, huh? Love that story, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm you guys, I'm like, yo, we need to be on every podcast in the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, just doing due diligence in about opportunity zones, kind of getting more educated, listening to podcasts. I mean, he was, just doing his thing, and that's what reached out. And, we get tons of phone calls from every like so many different people wanting to, have us invest in their project or whatnot. And we definitely want to try to reach out to we certainly reach back to every single person, either via email, just to acknowledge that, like, we got their message, you know what I mean? That it just didn't go unnoticed. I mean, we can't speak to every single person, but certainly we want to make sure that we're having that double bottom line impact within our company too.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. So you guys connect with Derrick. He gives you a call. You guys sign an agreement to do Kingdom Activated. And so basically Derrick's like, yo, Josh, Lane, I need to know what's up with my dollars. Right. That's basically what he said to you before he signs any agreement. And so teach us, like, show us how you guys pitched Derrick to do this JV. Like, did you basically have to show him how the double bottom line thing works? Did you basically have to show him, like, yo, not only will we be making you profits, but here's the other bottom line we're gonna be providing you, Derrick. And so what was that bottom line? Like, is it like here's how the incomes go up of the people who buy these real estate properties or rent these real estate? Is that one example?
Yeah, I don't know if it was even a pitch as much as it was just like, we're focused on and how we really just align our investment dollars with values, and kind of just more about the top line vision. And we got into certainly like the homes and the impact, and we definitely talked about the trademark to OZ score and how we're measuring it. And, really just that passion, right? I mean, and just Praveen Panwar is another partner at Activated Capital, and this has paper principles, and, just making sure that we're positive, authentic, passionate, empathetic, and resilient. And, kind of just, I don't know, it was more of a conversation than anything, but sure. Yeah, it was good.
But for my sake, I guess, like if I wanted to invest, help me understand, how that double bottom, that second bottom line, not just the profit bottom line, but the other bottom line, how that gets measured. Like you've referred to this OZ scorecard a couple times. My guess is you're scoring something or measuring something there that I probably am very interested in as a person who's trying to consciously invest.
So, yeah, and I mean, we certainly want to measure the economic drivers. So like how many jobs we can create within the community. And when we, purchase property, does that create jobs? Or if we purchase a business, what does that do? So that's something that we certainly can very much report on, and we need to, just because we want to make sure the communities are able to be able to have access. And then financial education is another piece where improving credit scores, like no one understands exactly what goes in a credit score, and yet it's so important to like life,
Right.
I don't know how often you guys check your credit scores, and I see you guys biting your nails now too, and hopefully I'm not going to ask you questions about it. But
St. James definitely biting his nails. He's like, damn, what's a credit score?
Don't test my credit right now, but it's important just to get a car, get a loan, to get a home. So those are some of the factors in which we want to try to break down those myths and barriers, and try to align the community, and then ultimately, if that's of interest, have the availability of purchasing a home. So that's the second piece. And then the third thing is mental health. So you already spoke about Beyond Meat, like what you put in your bodies will impact your decisions, and how that impacts your decisions will impact your goals. So, mental health is something that we talk about a lot in terms of mentorship. We, are very active in mentors, and Praveen can speak to this a lot more too, but just on how, meditating and breathing can really just impact your overall, just wellness, really.
Right.
Just taking a step back if you're aggressive or frustrated or something, just taking a step back and breathing.
Right. So wait, these are amazing, man. But like, would you as an investor in some of these properties where tenants might be, would you be able to somehow, like, is your intention with Activated Capital to provide potential mentorship?
No, I mean, we already have mentorship programs in which we're investing in the community. So we'll work with certain community centers. I was thinking it just now, working with even universities too, on community colleges or junior colleges, whatever you want to call them. But different programs in which that goes beyond, I guess, just investment dollars, just having a conversation and imagining a better alternative is what we talk about.
Powerful, dude. Powerful. Like you're saying, wait, just make sure I understand you. You're saying that you'll use the investment dollars to create some sort of investment or a property or a multifamily or whatever it is. And as part of that, you will seek to partner with a program or a university or something that will enable those maybe lower income tenants to suddenly have more mentorship, more connection, more improved mental health. Is that what I'm understanding? That you'll have some sort of partnership program?
Yeah, we'll reach out to nonprofits within the neighborhoods and see how we can provide any sort of guidance or mentorship. We'll host events within the neighborhood to have those programs and just to have that readily available.
Yo, that's great. That harkens back to your nonprofit days, Josh. So that's right up your alley. You know that stuff, so it makes sense for you to know how to connect with those dudes and bring them in house.
Yeah, it's also really dope,
right? I mean, like, think about that. Like, if I'm a low income person, right, which I've been in the past, I'd rather rent from someone like Activated Capital.
Yes.
Right? Because it's coming with all this other stuff that might help me out.
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds hard to do, Josh, but I mean, dude, if you pull it off, that's fantastic. I'm worried we lost Lane. We may have lost Lane, unfortunately.
I mean, Lane had to drop off. And
he did? Okay.
I got to hop off a bit too.
Okay.
But this is also, I mean, it's extremely difficult, guys, like, because people don't trust their landlords, and rightfully so for the most time.
Right.
Like you just said. And, so, I mean, I would love to. I don't know if you guys don't have any time this weekend at all, or is there any way that we could reschedule? Just because we each had to drop off, but I'm available for another 5-10 minutes. But
all good, brother. Yeah, no, we've been taping, man, and we'll tape for the next 5 minutes if that's what you can do. That's great, man. We got a lot out of you. This is great, and our listeners will definitely benefit a lot from this, because I'm not hearing this story very much at all, Josh.
Okay.
So it's great, man.
Yeah. I think but it's huge. I mean, it's going to take a long time too to just gain that trust, but we're excited. I mean, we're certainly like really pumped about the work and love to see how to get that message out there.
All right, to go back a second, one of my last questions. So the Derrick Morgan partnership with Kingdom Activated, right? So help me understand how that works. So it's a $200 million joint venture. I presume the $200 million has not necessarily been raised yet, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's just what we think we can deploy in the market with the resources that we have, right? And we're going to investors to make sure, or each investor is aligning their dollars with their values. So it's like, I don't know, almost like the nutritional content or where you source your food, like you mentioned earlier. So from there, we've got a lot of synergies on how that works. So Derrick's background, his network are all just so unique and very different than ours.
Yeah.
And then our background in, networks within the nonprofit space, within, investment banking space, are all just very different, but they're extremely complementary, right? They just work well. have the best of both worlds, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. Have you guys, how has reception been? Have you guys been able to successfully raise some of the money, or how are people receiving you guys? Are they excited? Where are you guys at? Give us an update on how it's been going so far. I know it's only been a few weeks.
Yeah. So the article went out about 3-4 weeks ago. We're having just tons of positive conversations at this point. So we're still early days on just those conversations, but Activated Capital has been raising capital. We're almost at that $3.5-4 million range right now with Activated Capital. And then with Derrick's relationships, we're just over that $5 million. So, it's every conversation that we have is been just very positive and engaging, and a lot of questions around opportunity zones and why it's a bipartisan legislation and what that means and what happens if, there's a different president next term, so on. So it's been good. But I think we're going to start to see, by the end of the year, a very different number and things really heat up.
Fantastic. All right, Josh, give us your full name and tell us where we can learn more about Activated Capital and Kingdom Capital.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us, guys. It's kingdomactivated.com or activatedcapital.com, or even just, emailing me or hitting me up on LinkedIn. Lane is on much more social media and LinkedIn as well, too. But, either activatedcapital.com and hopefully there's more information that you find useful, but we're just excited to have those further conversations.
Awesome. And your full name, Josh, what's your last name?
It's Burrell. Burrell.
Cool. And Lane Campbell, if y'all want to learn more.
That's it.
Badass. Thank you, Josh. Thanks for joining us, my man.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, no, likewise. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a nice one.
That's great, man. See you, brother.
Nice meeting.
That was Josh Burrell from Activated Capital and Kingdom Capital. We're about to wrap up here. Okay. St. James, thank you for being here, brother.
Of course. Thanks for having me, always.
We pulled it out. John Dolder.
No problem.
Kicking ass as a producer here.
Thanks.
Thank you for your help, man. And that episode's in the bag.
Yeah, I love it.
Peace out, y'all.
All right,
Deuces.
peace.